What's up guys, it's Non-Tuxic, your non-toxic YouTuber. Firstly, I'm just going to be walking through this terminal that I use. You can find it on GitHub. I'll post a link in the description for the website to get it. And I'm also going to be having a look at a website called Linuxjourney.
There are over 1,000 distributions.
I was 21 years old and I had basically programming half my life.
Firstly, I think it's easier if I show you. You can kind of get an idea of what this is. I've got a slightly different theme to the ones that you've seen on the website. So mine's purple. You can see here you've got a amber color, a green color, so kind of orangey, blue color as well. And there are some presets in the settings which I'll just kind of go through as well and show you guys. I'll just show another command as well, just to show some things on how it looks. You can just kind of have a scroll through there, see what processes are running on the system. Comes with process ID, just a bunch of other variables as well. Shows where in the file system is running. So you can see I'm obviously using OBS to like record this video, which makes a lot of sense, and it's just showing some other different files to do with that. But if I just go into the settings here, I'll just go to this one here, IBM DOS. I can go to Apple. I can go to futuristic. This one's pretty cool. It's very neat. You can see everything very, very clearly. The color format works very well. Everything is very clear and easy to see. Quite helpful for anyone who would want to get onto this. Now, just a question that you're probably asking. You're probably thinking, why are we going through all this terminal stuff, these different coding things? Well, one thing you've got to ask yourself is, okay, if you're going to learn stuff on Linux, you have to teach yourself, you have to learn. So what better things can you do to make it more engaging? Now, I was just using the terminal because I actually have a program I've written in Python, which I'll show up later in the video. And I was just going through some things on the terminal using Vim, which is just a IDE used to write computer code. And I was just thinking, a lot of these standard terminals are quite boring, to be honest. You can see it's pretty basic looking, kind of hard to see. You can do anything you want. Print hello world, boom, or A equals 56, B equals this, print A plus B, and it's going to print out a number. Now, you can do that, but then again, given the appearance of the terminal, the color scheme of things you have to squint, it's not very engaging. So I thought, okay, I want to use terminal, I want to do things, but let me make it more interesting. And that's really how I came across this terminal that I'm using now, and it's called Cool Retro Term on GitHub. You can download the GitHub files, and I just went through an installation, which I'm not going to show in this video, but you just got to run these different commands based on your type of distribution. Once you've run those commands, that's going to just download the files, and then after that you can basically do the installation, basically compiling the program, and then this is the command you use to run it once you're in the correct directory. And so you've got to then ask yourself, what is it for you that's going to make your Linux experience as you learn things more easy. For some, they'll use what's called a tiling window manager, which I can cover in another video. For some it's certain just nice interfaces, even just to be even on this is very smooth. A lot of the things come up very well. I think making the terminal look interesting is one of the things that for me is going to help, and if I could myself, I would actually work on a project like one of these that's going on here to make things more interesting, because that's what just makes your experience better. That is just a part of what keeps you engaged. If you were to think about research on user experience itself, you look at iPhones, for example, iPhone, Samsung, etc. Like it's not just black and white with different applications on it. Like they're all designed in a certain way to fit exactly what you want. I don't know if anyone else has really thought of this much, but it's just something that has come to mind for me, because less people are on Linux. We're just so far behind, and it depends on what distribution you're on. You know, like some people will use certain Arch Linux distributions where they have more ability for things to look nice the way they want, and they're happy. But you just have to find your own way. So if you just kind of look, if I just show you a bit about Linuxjourney, for example, so we've got different sections to it: command line, text foo, processes, packages, and this is just something you could do in your own time, but it just teaches you how to do something. It's just something I wanted people to know about, because it's something that I've used myself. So I may just kind of put a couple commands from here up, just to show kind of how they show up on the terminal, how things look. So ls, that's just going to print the directories that pop up that you kind of have available to you. History, in fact, let me just clear this. History, for example, that's just going to show different commands you've typed. And another helpful command is man. So if I, for example, do touch man, if I do man touch, then what you find is that essentially is going to show you how to use a particular command and give you just a guide to it. So this is just all in like text form. You know, okay, here's the build, here's the link to go to build it, and that shows you exactly this website here. And then you've got some screenshots where it shows you some examples in different colors. And then you've also just got a description of the program itself, but we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, we don't need to worry about that. So just gonna quit. And so yeah, let me just show you that Python file that I'd been talking about earlier. See how things look up through there in terminal. I'm just going to comment through the code. So how about we just go back to where we were. So cd is just current directory, that's what I've been using. That's another command. ls list directory, then I'm going to go into Python plain text to binary. That's just a directory I've made for my project. So ls through there, and then if you look through the actual files we've got here, so we've got a Python file here, and then we've got a text file, and once I open this Python file, that'll explain what it does. But my program that I've got to show here it will just translate plain text simply into binary. So in fact, just for demonstration, so I have a quote here, just a random quote that I searched off the internet, but I'm going to replace that with just any random quote. So I'm just going to press put it in insert mode, and I'm just going to find a random quote off the internet and paste that in. So here we've got one from Michael Jordan, famous guy, right? Easy quote, easy to follow, and we're just gonna escape and then W2 to save out of that. Now if you go to our Python file, so I'm just gonna go Python 3. I'm just gonna open that in Vim, not running yet. Vim, where you've got it, plain text to binary py. So I'm just gonna explain this code. So file equals open plain text. So firstly, this is gonna just open up the file and take the contents out, and this file output is a list object in Python, and it's just taking all of the lines of it, and these are just two new arrays that or lists that I've created, as well as another one here. Now what we're going to do is I'm basically going to translate what we've got here into a form where I've separated it. So any \n here is going to be removed from it, so it's going to be easier for you to see. String output converts this array into a single string. So in fact, I don't even need to put this because it's kind of clear. Separates words from string. You can see space position, that's kind of where that sorts that, and then plain text words, this is where the plain text words is stored, kind of stores the value. So I've got a for loop here, don't really want to explain everything for every loop. I've got quite a few to run through. Over here what we're doing is we're essentially separating we're basically storing the words. So here it's just creating the spaces for the array to store, and then here it's actually filling them up. So from here, it's going to convert from plain text, from the words to individual characters, value for those characters, and ASCII is going to be converted, and then from there there's a function to convert into binary. For those who may not know what ASCII is, it's essentially a system that's used to store a number or letter, lowercase a, that's 97, uppercase a, that's 65, etc. That's what I'm going to be using. And this is just, and so what we've got here, this essentially creates spaces for the arrays above, and this is just a nested for loop within a for loop that we've got here. And now what this does here, this is the more interesting part. It actually converts character values into binary. So with the way I've done it, I've had to make a nested for loop within a for loop, and it's just going one character at a time. So it's split in a way where you've got the individual words, and then for each kind of word segment there's like different segments for each character, and it's just going for each individual one and converting them one at a time. Stores the binary characters put together. Concatenated just means essentially put together, and this nested for loop that I have here is essentially doing that in action. So, and last but not least, you've got to output that text. And I'm just going to escape and then colon WQ. Some prior work we've been doing, I'm just going to clear that up, and then so we're just going to run it in Python 3, this file, and voila. So what we had from our quote before is now stored in binary, and what I'm also going to do is just display that in plain text as well. So we're just going to do ls to get up the file name again. I'm just going to input the directory, the file plaintext.txt, and that's just going to output the original text that we have. And so now it's just everything here has been put into binary form, and this is just kind of just to show you an example of something you can do using the terminal, what terminals like. But there are many other uses, like for example searching through files. It could be, let's say, other program files you want to sort. Even I can show you now the directories for this terminal that I'm using. I can just access that through this terminal I'm actually on. So if I go current directory, then you can see all the files here. Go vim cool retro term, and you can see here, interestingly, you can actually access the program file, just assess it. Yeah, that's about it. Leave a comment down below, leave a like, leave your thoughts about what's going on, what you would improve, what different things you want to see. as well. And if I do have any projects going on involving Linux, obviously that will be put on the channel